bit of the whole thing, and then once we're talking about those parts, we just riff. So we'll I'll say something about the beginning, give a little snippet of what happens, and then if something you want to talk about during that, and then if you just go on a tangent on something else,
like Lawrence Pugh.
Yeah, she'll be brought up.
She's up, and also
she's gonna be a hot topic.
Just so y'all know, we've been streaming. I pressed the buttons.
Oh, it's live?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for episode 58, I believe, and we are watched Oppenheimer. And I think I speak for everybody in this room when I say, thank God this isn't based off reality. And this is just a movie that we don't have to worry about anything. This would have been a horrendous act to actually do to a group of people.
Oh, yeah, you're saying you're glad this was nonfiction.
Yeah, of course.
Or wait, fiction.
Yeah.
It was nonfiction.
Correct.
The joke is that it was fiction.
We're on the same page.
We are joined with a good friend of mine, Tyler Sullenberger. Near and dear to my heart. He was almost far and away from my heart because I had to beg him to come on the podcast. You go.
Is that, were you going to name some of my accolades or?
No, that's as good as I got for right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. This is definitely, been wanting to be on this show for a long time. It might be the first episode I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But you're listening. On, but I like what you guys are doing already. So.
This is how we get new listeners. We invite them on the podcast and they feel obligated to listen. Kind of like my friend Wad, my ex-friend.
Yeah, well, he had a big date with the couch tonight, so...
Yeah, you can't really blame him.
So you tagged me in, and I said, you know what, Vic, I'm laying down the law. I'm going to film this podcast tonight.
I don't care.
John wants me to.
Did you hear what happened to them? You watched it with Wad, right?
I did.
Did you hear what happened at their showing?
Someone dress up as Hitler?
No, we were... right after they dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it was like, this guy just gets up and he starts singing the national anthem.
Yes.
And he butchered it, dude.
Really?
Completely butchered it.
I think we all have a little bit of trouble around the Star Spangled Banner part.
Yeah, and it was just like, what is going on right now? And then, like Nolan said, the first thing that you think of is this guy about to, murder everybody in the theater?
Oh, if you see a guy stand up and start...
What's going on? This guy's a psycho nut job in a movie.
I would have just wished you did it at the start. Because if I sat through a 3-hour-long movie and then got shot, I'd be really pissed off.
Well, they said he was being nuts the whole time, too.
He was saying stuff?
He was walking up and down the aisle.
What?
And I'm not even sure it's the same guy they thought it was.
Oh, really?
The guy with the boot on his leg or whatever was with a wife and a little kid.
How much of the national anthem did he sing? Whole thing?
I think he realized that he was a jackass and he butchered it so bad that he kind of walked out to get popcorn or something. So it wasn't that much. It was probably a 10-second reel.
Do you think this was a guy that was trying to make a viral video, or was he out of that age range?
I don't know. I couldn't get a good look at the guy. I'll have to tell that.
Was it loud?
Yeah, it was loud. It was right there on the landing in between where the lower level and the upper level is. So we're second row up from the top. So I could really only see this guy his hand in the air or something. And everybody's just kind of confused. Everybody is kind of nobody even said shut up, sit down,
Yeah.
And I think everybody was in shock that this guy was busting out in national anthem.
Started praying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too worried about their own life. All
right, run it. Got to keep on watching, and that we do, folks.
That we do.
Man, I've never seen,
Is that your first reaction to the intro video?
Yeah, I have never seen that before. Oh my gosh. You know, it's creative, definitely. Very creative.
My cousin made it.
And also, at the end, y'all did the classic, like, hey, let's make ourselves look like the most handsome cartoon characters in history.
Somebody else did that.
Hey, we just censored the photo.
We just gave her a picture.
Like, I'm more shocked about the end of it or, like, the whole thing.
It should be the whole thing. It's a little chaotic.
My little cousin made that.
It's spectacular.
She's got inner demons.
Yeah, clearly.
I just like the little night costumes, you know, characters.
We got it all made, bro.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys got something rolling here for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's dive right into it. You guys want to give a rating for this movie?
Yep, on the count of 3. You got your rating?
Yep, ready? 1, 2, 3. 9.0. Whoa!
9.0 is wildly too high.
I was going to give it an 8.8 leaving the theater. But then I was thinking about it, and I think that I'm going to like this movie a lot more in the future.
Once I understand it, but I don't know if I'll even watch it again.
No.
I gave it a 7.8.
I'm on but it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It's going to be high quality production, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything looked great. I mean, the cinema experience is all there like his other movies, but the story itself
wasn't worth it.
It wasn't. It wasn't
It was the invention of the A-bomb.
It's an autobiography piece that's like, I read about it too because I was like you. Afterwards, it's like, I need a little bit of hope connecting some of these dots.
Yeah, especially when Christopher Nolan goes present, past, future, present, past, future, present, past, future. The whole time.
But they would do it in black and white, and you could tell the difference.
But why was the black and white one the most present thing?
That was like the most recent.
Yeah, it should have been in color in the start when
because
he's like
because it was the least amount. You want the least amount in black and white possible.
Well, they should have explained that to us before.
No, you're not going to be like, hey guys, we're going to do the future in black and white because we want the least amount of that possible.
I mean, he starts the movie with the bombs. You don't even see the bombs at the end, which I had qualms.
That is a big qualm that
I had qualms. I was like, dude, I didn't want to see like
the test bomb.
I didn't want to see any of like the carnage below, but I wanted to see the mushroom.
I wanted to see the airplane drop.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see like, hey, this is what happened. At least for a POV of the guys in the plane, the pilots.
Exactly, that would have been beast.
And because you know that it would have affected them greatly, being like, we literally just blew up like a whole city. Like, you could have thrown a little smidge in there of like, not. And again, like you said, you don't have to be the aftermath. We don't need to see.
I don't want to see
we don't need
babies
to see people literally burning alive and stuff like
they
that.
They did a POV of the pilot seeing the other plane, and that was
Eisenhower was classic.
Yeah, that was.
He was like
black.
Is that? Oh, dude, that was nuts. I saw that like later after I watched
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman was. Truman.
I feel like I have blood on my hands.
He said, "Get this science pussy out of my office."
He said, "Don't ever bring that crybaby." That's apparently all true, though.
Yeah,
basically, we're like, "You're such a wimp, dude." You don't want to make a hydrogen bomb, you damn wimp.
I do think he was wrong about
that. Dude, I want to see a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
I think that like America,
like, whoa, that A-bomb was something serious. You're telling me that we could potentially build
100 times
even more powerful,
100 times worse.
When we're talking about our nuclear warheads today, are those H-bombs or A-bombs?
I think it's a good mix of both.
I would be willing to bet it's a
lot of H-bombs. Yeah.
Oh, I bet it's like 50-50. Because like you don't want to drop an H-bomb on like a small city, so you got a little A-bomb for that little muff. But then you also have like I could take out New York in one foul swoop.
Yeah.
H-bomb.
Yeah. I mean, I really do wish that they kind of would have just shown what
they should have.
At least something.
And then the carnage as well.
Goes, oh, he did it, and then it just goes and cuts back to his BS little hearing they're doing for him.
That's
about, oh yeah, you're such a crybaby, dude. Like you literally created this thing, and now you're like, I've got blood on my hands.
Yeah, I feel like I have blood on my hands. I mean, he's like,
he
grabs his handkerchief. I was like, that was me.
And that's the other thing is like, I can understand his moral dilemma, but the guy did work on it for like 4 years.
And he was wishy-washy.
You know what end game with you building this thing? It's the whole time you're doing
his whole thing was like, like we build it. We don't have any say in what they do with it, but like,
He was also
We're just gonna
super
build this
wishy-washy because he would say that the whole time, and then he was crying about it once it happened.
Once the whole Communist Party thing came in, I got bamboozled.
So I knew that was confusing the whole time. I
Yeah.
think I already really liked this movie, and then when I watch it again and I can read this movie, because sometimes the music and the speed, I think I'm gonna like it a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave
Christopher
it a
Nolan's
thumbs
like
up.
known for just like putting bass so loud in his movies that you feel it in your asshole. And this whole time I'm like, I feel like I have anxiety the whole entire time watching Christopher Nolan movie because I'm just like, it's the whole like Interstellar like, but it's just not
That's the best
as
part of that. Though.
it's not as intense as Interstellar. The story behind Interstellar was cooler.
Yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. That guy, he wasn't in this movie. The
Who?
musical guy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And he's also like does the music for every great movie ever.
Yeah,
He's like,
Why would,
Well,
why would everybody not just lock him in?
I think he gets
Either
to
that
lock
guy
down.
or the Hamilton guy. He always makes good tunes.
Yeah, but those are show tunes.
Oh, but I've seen him do like animated movies where I'm like, damn, that was a bop.
Oh yeah, he did
That
it in
was a
Kanto.
But he did Encanto, and then he did the one with the little like monkey that sings music.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, it's good. There's some bangers.
Jot
in it.
that down.
Where did
Go
you
home
watch
and
this
see the
movie?
little movie with the little monkey.
Am I running out of time? That's in that.
Is
it's
that
a
from Netflix?
banger. Yeah,
Vivo or something?
Vivo.
Yeah,
Yeah, Vivo.
I'll jot
Good
that
movie.
down.
Yeah.
Where did you watch this movie?
At the theater.
Which one?
The
Georgian?
Jordan, yeah.
So, did they play that? Did you make it for the previews?
A little bit of them.
Did
I
you see
showed
The
up
Exorcist preview?
The what?
The Exorcist?
Yes!
Oh my
Terrifying.
god!
Oh my
Shivering in my
God.
boots. You don't do
Bob-
that to
Bob was
kids.
sitting next to me and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Yeah, they
It
need like a
really is.
disclaimer before they even play that.
Have you ever seen the original Exorcist?
I don't think I have.
The original Exorcist is kind of funny.
It's funny because it's so fake now. I mean,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like in the late 60s.
That
I know,
shit
but
was
you would be
not
like,
fake.
you would be
Oh
terrified.
no, the new one it's gonna be so terrifying because everything's new. Like the
And it's
original
two little
Exorcist-
girls instead of one little girl.
Yeah. And the original Exorcist, you're just like, yeah, I could see how, like, if you rewinded me 50 years ago and I didn't have any knowledge of what movies would progress to, this
Right.
could be potentially scary,
Yeah.
but
It's like
that
how
old
Star
scary
Wars.
movie is not scary anymore.
Everybody's like, oh, the original Star Wars, that's like one of the best movies I've ever seen. And then you watch it and you're like, I'm pretty sure I see a string holding that spaceship up.
Yeah, you're like, dude, this is literally the kind of stuff that's filmed in a basement.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be like that in the future from now, or have special effects?
No,
gotten
I
to
mean,
such
we're
a-
always progressing to a point where we never see. If special effects reaches its peak, we'll get into a point where AI or like virtual reality or augmented reality and movies become one and the same to where you're put inside of the movie.
I could see something more like
That'd
that
be
than
so
our
sick.
It'd be
special effects being bad in the future. Just want to make sense. I can't picture like it getting much.
Y'all
better
remember
than
those
things.
movie chairs that they always had? Like, you never saw them in the movie theater, but they always had like a display of what they were. And it was like 4-dimensional movie chairs, and like it would shake when like the
Yeah.
movie shook, and then like it would like,
Spit
or
water
like
at
that,
you.
like yeah, like that Disney ride where you smell
Yes.
oranges and you're
Yeah.
like floating over like the Oasis.
I
And
was
you,
gonna say the first thing I think of with stuff like that is like at Disney, as being like a kid, you'd always go on like one
I
of
smell the
those rides.
tangerines.
Yeah, you go on one of those rides and it'd be like shake you, and then it'd be like some gas would get
Yeah.
in time perfectly with what you're watching.
Yeah.
Imagine Lord of the Rings if you were like in it.
I think I'd hate it, but
I
I'd
would-
love it.
Would
Oh.
definitely want to be a Urukai.
What the hell is a Yurkai?
Ain't gonna work.
Yeah, they're like the
They're the most beast to work.
the badass ones in the
Oh,
in the Fellowship.
The ones
Yeah.
with the
Where
hands
the
on their
white man
face.
Sauron.
Amen.
You know how the Urukai came
What,
into
you're
existence?
you're a nerd for Lord of the
You
Rings.
know
loves
how
Lord
they
of the
came into
Rings.
existence?
No.
They were elves.
They were elves.
They were
Okay, I
elves.
knew that part. I
That's
never-
why it's a
okay.
beast, though.
But then
Yeah.
what
And they're
happened?
big.
They were buried.
They were poisoned. I think that they got poisoned along with like like the Nazgul,
Yeah.
and they got poisoned. I think that it was similar with the some of the elves. that,
But why
like,
are they
got
found underneath trees and stuff?
No, I think that they can grow them. I think that's literally what they're doing.
They're growing them?
Yeah, it needs heat. So they have a little.
No, they weren't growing them out there. Like when it was like, ba-da-da-da, and they're going under the trees. And
They've
they're
got trees and they're coming out of little sacks.
So they were buried orcs just like growing them?
No,
I think they were growing them.
I think they grow them. They were like, there's no way that you could have an army unless, like, the size and span of it.
That they had. I thought they were just like,
you were growing.
I thought they were on retainer. Just like taking a nap down there.
No, I don't think it's like they just needed the trees for the wood to heat up so that they could, get them out of the blaze that they were in.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Whenever I catch a good meme, I send it his way.
But yeah, man.
Einstein being around back then, that
Einstein
blew
was
my
a piece of
freaking mind. I was like, this dude was just hanging.
When would you have guessed he was around?
Late 18s.
Yeah.
I think he's probably born then.
Oh, Da Vinci died in like 1982.
Wow.
That's
that one's
Well,
nuts.
Oppenheimer was born in like the late 1880s, and died in like 50, 60 or something.
Is there anyone from this movie
I think he was
that's
in
still
the
alive
early
today?
1900s.
I doubt it.
Not Oppenheimer. He died in the
kids.
60s.
Because if you think about it, all those people alive during that period were adults, so pretty much
Oppenheimer
no
had
chance.
2 kids.
Bad dad.
Huh?
He gave his kids away.
He was
No,
stressed.
it was like a month. He's like, we just need a break.
He said, I need you to take my kids. I need you to take them for a long
And this
time.
guy said, you're one of the greatest minds in the world. That comes with challenges. We'll take your freaking kid.
Yeah, dude, what a good friend.
I was
Right.
confused about the closing scene. So instead of the 2 bombs, which we wanted to see, we get this like little celebration where they're like in that little like, they're stomping their feet.
Yeah.
And they're going nuts. But then like at some point he's having a panic attack. And he looks at a lady in the stands and she's like laughing. And then he looks again and she's like bawling her eyes out.
And then they randomly throw a cameo of like 2 people, and I think it might have been chicks like making out.
Was it chicks?
That's what I was thinking. I was
I know.
it's a new day and age, so it always makes you think they're probably like, oh, we don't have any,
It's
gay
like
or
World's
lesbian
End type
representation,
stuff.
So they threw like
underneath
like
the
an
stadium.
afterthought. Yeah.
Yeah, was it 2 chicks? I thought it was
chicks
just...
making out.
It would make sense because they were hiding because it was back in the day, but these 2 chicks underneath the stadium making out.
Hey.
More
That's
power
what I'm
to you.
saying, because they were probably like, whoa, they don't have much black representation in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they were kind of like...
Do we have any?
Yeah, there was, when they go to Chicago, when he wasn't supposed to, there was like a couple, like
Of black guys hanging
Yeah.
around.
They're like,
In Chicago.
Hey.
these guys.
You gonna roll some dice?
Oh, God.
If y'all were in charge of the red button, would you push it?
Oh, shit, yeah.
What
What do you mean? Like
that?
during the test when the...
No,
Peck was-
not Josh Peck, who is just seems like a terrible actor.
At the
Oh,
time,
dude,
you know,
he
I
is so
think-
bad.
Hands shaking like he's got like a freaking...
He was being a bitch about it, but at the time, I think everyone thought that it was a necessity. Like, the bomb. The
You
Japanese
dropping
were saying...
it on innocent...
Yeah, they
No,
were
I'm not
testing
talking
it.
about him. Well, he was more nervous, I think, that they succeeded because they put like 3 years into this bomb. You know?
Did Josh
that's
Peck
true.
put
They were
any-
all kind of like,
Okay, here's my biggest qualm with the whole movie that I'm the most confused about. So they're spending 2 to 3 years making this thing. And the whole time, while they're making it, people are back home making uranium and what was the other metal? And they're filling up those things. He's like, we need this much to make a bomb.
He's dropping marbles every time.
And he's like, we need this much to make a bomb. They finally fill it up. They make 3 bombs. He made it
That's
sound like they
true.
needed that much, and they used one as a test. They were like, we got to get this much metal to make a bomb. And then they just test one.
Yeah, I think that was more like I see what you're saying. It doesn't make sense from the perspective of everybody thinks like they need that much for one single bomb, but they probably are like, yeah, people will gather that that's how much we needed to do what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Or it was like they had ramped up production enough to where
Maybe.
they had found like a big, mine or something and they could start like mining.
Well, look at all this
Yeah,
uranium.
exactly.
What perfect timing.
What?
That's it.
Mm.
Who knew
Yeah.
this would be here? We actually need it.
Yeah, I don't even know. Y'all think y'all have crossed uranium? Just like, oh, look at
Definitely
this
not.
little shiny rock.
If you found uranium and you even
You would die.
breathe a word, the government would be at your house so quick.
You wouldn't know what it was.
Eminent domain, and you'd be gone.
They take your house.
Oh, absolutely they would. They'd be
Yeah.
like, this guy's sitting on uranium.
This is a
I'd be
whole
like,
uranium minefield.
Let's do this, guys. I'm going to sell this to the highest bidder. This plot of land, you guys can do what you want.
Oh, I wouldn't
Except
go.
the government wouldn't let you. They just go eminent domain.
I'd be like, bro, give me $5 million. You know all the
The government would be like, we're going to give you what we want to give you because that's.
But I'm sure they would
those
make
things.
off like bandits if you.
Yeah,
had
I'd be like, just
Oh yeah.
I'd say a reasonable number.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like too out of the is. I mean, in this time, $5 million is like
sounds pretty good.
bonkers.
Pretty
$5
nice.
million, like if you got $5 million today, you could actually retire on that one day.
Ah.
Because now you could because you're going to go ahead and put all that money in to earn you, anywhere from 5 to 10% per year.
Not
5
me.
5 to 10% per year with the time value of money for 40 years from now, dude. You're going to have so many millions.
If I had $5 million, I would put all $5 million into this podcast, and we would still just have 50 viewers.
And then you'd be like,
What the
a
hell did I do?
$1 million.
Where's the closest uranium I can find?
Really bad ROI on that.
Do you have a plot summary?
Yeah. All right.
I'll read mine. Robert J. Oppenheimer is such a dork, he has to leave the United States in order to learn as much quantum mechanics as he would like. He receives his PhD in physics while in Germany and brings what he has learned back to the United States. He gets put in charge of the Manhattan Project, a mission to create the atomic bomb before the Nazis and blow them to smithereens. Before Oppenheimer succeeds, the Nazis are defeated. The Manhattan Project is still going full bore now in order to blow the Japanese to smithereens. Oppenheimer creates the bomb at Los Alamos and it is used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Will Oppenheimer go down in history as one of the greatest minds of all time, or will his regrets, opposition to the H-bomb, ties to the Communist Party, arrogance, and playboy ways get in his way?
You killed that.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
I'm glad John does good ones, because sometimes I'm just like, meh.
That just goes and reads off the internet.
I just throw a couple jokes in
Zach
there.
has Chat GPT, so you can just be like, write a little.
I could do write a brief description about, and they would tell me. All right, so here's mine. Oppenheimer follows J. Robert Oppenheimer, a brilliant scientist known as the father of the atomic bomb. It shows Opie's journey before, during, and after the creation of the atomic bomb, but in a fun, jumbled way where you don't know what the hell is going on.
That's good.
As if the theoretical physics and World War II politics weren't confusing enough to follow, Christopher Nolan really wants to get the brain turning through a continuous change between past, present, and future. Thankfully, the movie gives you a bit of relief knowing that the final outcome is absolute.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Very well written.
I don't describe the movie.
Yeah. Well, I also have. All right, this is the first part.
What was our grand total on the ranking? Because
I did
feel like we
9.0.
ended
What'd you
around
say?
my 8.4.
I did
8.4.
7.8.
And he did 7.8.
And I'm right in the middle of both of those.
Yeah, it's around like an 8.4.
I'd say we do 8.4.
I think 8.4 solid. I mean, it's technically more than I would give it, but I mean,
I can get behind 8.4. I'm not putting this in the 9s.
Nah.
I think it's going to go
It's
down
not
much better than it was.
Huh?
I think that's an average of like an 8.
Well, if you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, if I watch this movie again, then I think
really
I would
liked it
like it
already.
more.
I was going to give it an 8.8, and then I was like, I'm going to like this more the second
Let
time.
me ask
That's
you
9.
this. When you walked out of that movie, were you like, man, I would go see this movie again in theaters?
Yeah, I would see it again in theaters if I didn't have a kid.
You seem like a big ass liar to me.
I would
does
go
not seem
again
truthful.
if
There
I
is
had
no
time.
way you can
That's
hold
how
me.
you know what a 9.0
You
is.
can hold me at
I would
gunpoint,
go
and there's
again.
no way I'd go to a 3-hour movie twice.
I know, dude. You can't even last an hour and a half.
Oh, bro, you went to poop or something.
You pooped.
You took like a 4-minute break.
You literally admitted. You literally.
John went to the.
I refilled my popcorn and drink. You said I'm allergic to popcorn. I almost shit my pants in the middle of the movie.
There's something about popcorn. I don't know what poison they put in there. Probably cyanide of the apple. Same thing that.
Nuts, dude. That was real.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it was real.
All right, let me.
Oh, I
read-
don't like your thesis on quantum mechanics. I'm gonna poison your apple.
Okay, let me read the beginning part. Robert J. Oppenheimer is a young and ambitious scientist that wants to learn more about quantum mechanics. The U.S. does not yet take the science seriously, so Oppenheimer leaves to study quantum mechanics at the University of Göttingen in Germany in order to bring the science back to the United States.
Yeah, he means like
What
Hans
year was that
Strudel.
going on?
27, I think.
And so this Jew goes to Germany.
Whoa.
He was Jewish, and
Yeah,
he goes
so
to Germany.
I didn't understand. I was reading a
Can't
little about
drop the hard
to
J.
prepare. I read a little bit about his life on Wikipedia, which
Oh,
you know
yeah.
is very reliable.
Yeah.
So I'm reading about it, and it says that his parents
Apparently,
immigrated.
he managed Beyonce.
But apparently, I think it is like his parents, because they were Jewish, immigrated to New York City to flee Germany.
Yeah.
But then it was like they fled like way before World War II.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that either. And then it was like he was an American technically, and then went to Germany, and right before kind of Hitler came into power and stuff.
I don't
so he was
think
back in the U.S.
his parents must not have been fleeing because of the
Yeah,
anti-Jew
maybe
stuff.
they just immigrated then.
I think
Can you imagine?
Plain old Ellis Island
I
immigration.
also think they were also like not very liked over there at the time already.
Yeah, I think that Hitler
Hitler saw that and he was like,
the
"Oh, I
culture
can
was
get."
heading towards
he was like-
Jews are gross.
Yeah.
They were really hating on
He
them.
was like, I think his
Can you
main thing was,
imagine
I
the
can gather
speech?
the people around this that like, oh, people don't like the Jews.
Yeah.
I can be like, yeah, we
Is
don't
that
like
Hitler?
the Jews.
People just really didn't like the Jews at this point. Like, it just took one guy to be like, oh, they kind of suck.
Jews have been the most persecuted human race in human
They're still Jews.
Don't tell that to don't tell that to a certain group of.
But they are. I mean, they really
Yeah.
are. It's insane.
Even today.
Actually,
Palestine and them.
yeah.
I'm
Could
Team
you
Israel.
imagine
That's
just
triple
sitting
man.
through
It's a pro-Israel
a
podcast.
Hitler speech, bro? He's got to get your juices flowing.
Yeah, can you imagine?
I mean, if somebody
Imagine-
convinced me,
imagine one of your buddies just being like, "Man, you hear about that Hitler guy that's running for office?" And you're just like, "Oh yeah, I've heard some of the
He's
stuff he
nuts.
said.
Talk
That
about
guy
the-
really doesn't like the Jewish people."
bro, talk about like the ultimate Donald Trump. Like he can
whoa,
not
compare.
putting them, but I'm sure somebody's already compared them.
Oh, you don't think?
Yeah, but I mean, all I'm saying is Trump, like, Trump can get like
the crowd.
emotion.
going.
Yeah, he can get the crowd going, and then Hitler goes and is like, "Listen, we got to murder all of them. It's not just one of them. We got to get the rest of them."
I don't
gone."
think he was really doing that during his big speeches.
I watched. Yeah,
Maybe you should read Mein Kampf. Come back with a report.
yeah.
Yeah, change it into a banned book podcast.
Is it banned?
No, you can buy it. I think you can buy any book.
Yeah, I think you technically can, but I think the ban things like
But if you
banned
ever,
from school.
It's kind of like if you buy Mein Kampf on like
You better not
Amazon,
do
you're
anything
like
bad.
you're on a
Yeah,
list.
yeah, it's like,
Bro,
like,
okay.
you're like-
look at this guy in Noonan, Georgia. He just bought like 3 signed copies.
he bought Mein Kampf and he bought
And then on
a Hitler
Facebook,
painting of a
he
German
said he's
Shepherd.
Looking for other Mein Kampf readers.
Has anyone read this book?
Guy.
Yeah.
So,
So basically, World War II.
Yeah.
The whole time period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the pivot too, like you were saying, John, like in your synopsis. Like, it's like, this is all, the end game is, we need this in case the Nazis have it, because Heisenberg was super smart, like
Yeah.
we talked about, and they know that he was capable of coming up and finding the same answers to the equation.
yeah.
But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, Hitler just like killed himself. Like the war is pretty much over. And then they're just like, you know what? Those Japanese, they swear to God they're not going to surrender. I think it was literally just like, we built this thing.
we better use it.
We
Here's
spent
how-
$2 billion, which was like probably $5 trillion at that point in history.
Yeah.
So like, we can't just tell the American people,
Listen.
like, we're not going to use this super cool bomb we made.
We got it.
You know what was pretty cool to learn, if true? They were like, Germany was like 4 years ahead on this. Like, they started their nuclear warhead program 4 years before, like, the what was it called?
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos.
And he was like, the only thing that we have going for us on our side is anti-Semitism, because, like, Heisenberg was a Jewish guy, and so Hitler wasn't going to give these guys a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So if he
Hitler
had
was like,
poured
no,
money
no.
into it, he probably could have won the war, and like Heisenberg would have made this weapon before we
How
would
many
have.
great people did Hitler kill?
Probably a
Bunch
lot.
of good accountants, I bet you.
Oh, man. There was definitely some lawyers,
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
some mathematicians.
cobblers.
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, that's
That Adam Sandler had the whole cobbler movie.
Yeah.
He's
but
Jewish,
are,
right?
Are like a lot of guys making shoes?
He's
Yeah,
got the
I think
nose
so.
for it.
I think so.
Fixing shoes,
Yeah.
you know, fixing leather in general, I think.
Do y'all think anyone could pull off a Hitler mustache today without
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan? He did do it.
He loves it.
You know who I think could do it? Mr. Beans.
Oh, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Beans.
Because he would be more like the
He would
Chaplin
look like him.
dude.
But he'd be like, they'd make some dumb parody about like him coming to power in a country,
Yeah.
and it's like the whole time he doesn't say anything, and he's just flailing
That would be
around in the air, and all of a
hilarious.
sudden he's like a fascist dictator, and they're like, "That's Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean becomes a dictator."
Yeah, that would be a funny movie.
All right.
Mr.
a question-
Beans.
Here's a question I have for you guys. All right. Florence Pugh shows Nip in this movie.
Correct.
Why do you think she did that?
Because it's Christopher Nolan.
Is that why?
Okay, so this is, I've had...
It's the first time he shows Nip. that I
okay,
know
but
of.
this is the first time he's had an R-rated movie in a minute.
Okay.
So I would say that if it was anybody else but Christopher Nolan, because like even Matt Damon said this thing where he was like, I told my wife I was done. Like I'm retired. Like I'm done with the movie scenes unless Christopher Nolan calls me.
Yeah.
And then he's got this whole story about how Christopher Nolan calls him and like they had like a little argument. He gets in the movie. But if it was anybody outside of like, because like Daenerys Targaryen, right?
Yeah.
You see her nips the first scene of her like opening.
Yeah.
I think those were her nips. But then later down the road,
Body double.
that's a body double.
Yeah.
She's
But
probably
I'm
I
saying
bet Florence,
that.
or I bet
I-
she's body double.
No, I bet this is Florence Pugh's actual body.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'd
think
say.
so too. I don't think.
I think she's
Oh,
showing nips for Christopher.
Hey,
You don't
Christopher
do-
Nolan wouldn't let them use fake bombs. He's certainly not letting them use fake nips.
That's
Yeah.
true, but also this is where I think to myself, why I don't understand the point of that being in the movie.
Me neither. Why can't they
It
cut
doesn't
him?
make-
Oh well, the second part was like almost even like more elongated than I would have liked it, and John missed this whole entire part. But they're just like sitting in chairs similar to like what we're doing, like
Talking and
yeah,
shooting
but no, he's cock out with his legs just like
Yeah.
he's just like smoking a cigarette, legs locked enough that you can't see his pecker, and then Florence Pugh is just butt ass naked, looking fine as hell, like just like sitting in this like chair, just like talking to him for like 15 minutes, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, speed
Like,
it up.
I almost want
I
this to be
know,
wrapped up.
I was just like,
But they're like, oh, I would show my boobs for like artistic if it's necessary. I'm like, when would it ever be
you
necessary?
know what? It,
No.
almost-
Why can't you just?
You
cut
could
it
just be
from-
like, no thanks.
yeah,
or just wear a
you
bra.
can be naked, cut it from here up.
Yeah,
But also,
but that would mess up the viewers.
Yeah.
My-
Because we wanted to see nip at least once.
My big conspiracy about the movies in Hollywood in general is they're like, okay, I'm making this great movie, and then like Lawrence Pugh's agent calls up Christopher Nolan. She's like, hey, she'd really want to be in a Christopher Nolan movie. And then, you know, I feel like that's the kind of politics behind it. And then he's kind of like,
I
dang,
really
we really
like
don't
Peter
have
Kid.
anything for her to do. However, he did have this little shady part of his past that we could include, and we could get her naked on screen.
Right. I really
That's
think that
gotta
could have
be
been.
how it goes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, it's same with like Tarantino, where he's like, hey, Margot Robbie really wants to be in your movie. And he's like, how does she feel about showing feet? And he's like, oh, she's completely down
That's
for it.
exactly what happened.
Now you see Margot Robbie's dirty ass feet. Like they were raunchy.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
I mean,
Now,
I'm sure they dirtied him up for the movie.
if now a follow up question: would you show Dong to be in?
No. No.
What if it's for the poetic justice, the
I-
artistic?
I'll
I'd
tell you
have to
what,
have a prosthetic wiener.
No, I would show a dong double, a double dong.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd have to. It'd be like
You mean like two
Yeah,
Siamese
a
Dong?
double. I mean, so that everybody's so mesmerized by the fact that I have two that they're not thinking about how small I am.
that one. Looks, yeah, that one looks a little bit smaller.
What
than
about
the
you
other.
have to show your real Dong? You make $5 million for being in the movie, and it's Christopher Nolan movie. You show Dong?
No.
I show dong neck down.
Show dog neck down.
Is it like one of those cut scenes where I'm just like in a hospital and it's like a comedy movie and it's like, let's throw a dong in there on a fat
Yeah,
guy
like-
and it'll make people laugh?
Like forgetting
I
Sarah
know how to do
Marshall.
that.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall had a funny dong.
His Dong was
Very funny
hilarious.
dong.
Yeah.
Jaden Segel.
And he like
And you know what?
flashed it like
He
this.
had a very normal looking dong. That was definitely his dong.
Is that a normal looking dong?
If that's what they're supposed to look like, I'm in big trouble. He has a massive Dong.
Yeah, I got two
You know,
buddies.
they say, hey man, you're gonna want to get half chubbed up.
You know, Jason Segel said,
I-
"Hey, I got this dong. I'm gonna
I'd
flash
definitely
it."
slap it around a bit before airtime. I'd be half chub by the time they got me on camera.
You come back and they say, all right, Zach, drop the towel. Oh, we thought you were gonna get half chub.
It's
Oh,
fine.
I am.
It's-
Do you think I should go full erection?
Hey guys, what are we looking at in this studio? I'm thinking 62, 64. I think we need to bump that up to about 75. Get some oxygen.
Well,
back in
imagine
here.
if you were like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll get to be in a Christopher Nolan movie," and then it was freaking Dunkirk.
Oh yeah. The only thing worse about Dunkirk was that dude's little dong. That's all over every.
Chop off how terrible that movie was.
Uh.
It showed the smallest dump I've ever seen on a man.
All right.
Could y'all drown yourselves in a bathtub like Florence Pugh went out?
She took a bunch
No.
of pills first.
She still drowned herself, head down.
Yeah, but I think she like passed out in the tub.
Oh, really?
I think so. You
They
can't.
Yeah, I think
It's
that-
impossible to drown yourself
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
Like unless you go under some ice or something, like you can't hold.
So
your-
you just don't have the willpower to drown.
No
No,
one
it's
does.
like biting your fingertip off.
Oh, it's like it's
You know,
easy
they
to
say
bite
you
off
could
a
do it-
carrot,
You could do it like a carrot, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then your brain's like, "Yo, chill out."
Because believe it or not, the way that we're designed is to try to stay alive. You
Yeah.
know, so I think that's got a lot.
But
to do
I've
with
never.
it.
I feel like I've gotten my finger bitten by a dog or like a baby before.
Yeah, but that's not them. That's
Babies
a
don't have the
different-
bite for
They
it.
haven't
That's an
locked.
external factor. Yourself, you could not bite your fingertip.
But okay, so
your
like,
brain will literally not let your. jaw
but
off.
also, if I stuck my finger in your mouth right now and I said bite as hard as you can, I think your brain would tell you,
I could.
yeah, but it
It's
would
not
tell
my
you I'm not going to bite his
I
finger.
wouldn't bite your finger off, but I could bite a guy like fighting to the death's finger off.
Yeah.
If he put his
Yeah,
finger in
I
my
mean,
mouth,
it's gonna
I'd
be like, hey, it's gonna be classic about you.
I bet he
Jack's
could get it
finger off
stitched
right
I
up.
would Gollum
Well,
the dickens
it's
out of
Gollum,
you. It's
yeah.
Gollum.
Yeah.
now. I mean,
So
he's not
Gollum.
a great example because he was
I mean,
poisoned,
Frodo.
and he was clearly not all there.
He was poisoned.
Yeah, dude, the ring poisoned him for like.
Oh, yeah,
a
the
ring
month.
obviously.
poison. Ring poison.
Bro, I mean, talk about the biggest bitch of a main character ever. We're talking Frodo Baggins. I hated that guy.
What?
Samwise Gamgee was my favorite character in the whole entire
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Sam is the best.
Frodo sucks, but he has to suck.
He
you
was
know?
poisoned, so he's...
Yeah, I mean, he basically had no strength left. Like he was already kind of wimpy, and then he's like full on wimp by the end. And Sam's like, "Come on, man!" But you also gotta think to yourself, you don't really know the toll it's taken on. I mean, some of the greatest men in history at that time couldn't bring themselves to destroy the ring.
Aragorn
They all-
couldn't even do it.
He was tough.
Aragon.
He was tough. I just didn't like him.
I still like
Legolas Beast.
Legolas.
Frodo would probably be... We should have done that. But we gotta get you on the Lord of the Rings, so it
Oh,
makes sense.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you
how
guys,
about this?
you
We'll
didn't even watch the show, did you? The new
I haven't
show?
watched the
I
show.
did watch the whole new show.
I liked it.
I
but
like the show. as well.
Some people
I
didn't
enjoyed
I saw that they were empowering women in the first episode, and I said, you know what? Not for me.
You're not gonna want to watch Barbie then, huh?
That girl, like, everybody, these, like, 3 dudes, these elven dudes were, like, fighting this giant orc, and they were like, we can't take him! We just don't have the strength! And then the girl came out of nowhere and was like...
Well, she's Beast. She's
So, like,
Galadriel.
She was Beast.
They're like, what we need right now is a woman.
Yeah.
That's
All of
what
a
we
sudden,
have.
She comes leaping out of
Oh,
nowhere.
talk about, Snow White and the 7 normal-sized men.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Okay, next part of the movie, the rising action. In 1942, Oppenheimer was recruited to work on the Manhattan Project, and in 1943, he was put in charge of Los Alamos laboratories within the city he built in New Mexico. Oppenheimer needed Los Alamos to beat the Nazis in the development of the nuclear weapon, even though the German nuclear weapons program had a 4-year head start. I didn't know any of this history. Like, I didn't know anything about that Los Alamos place, and that thing was sick. I mean, they had, like, all the smartest scientists in the U.S. living there for 3 years to win the war
Here's what I thought.
in this kind of cool town. I would live
Do you
there.
think that Nuketown, based off Call of Duty, is based off of this town, the Alamo?
Seems
or
similar. Seems
Yeah.
similar.
Not completely.
vibes.
The houses are different. Like, it's like log cabins compared to, like...
Those cabins
siding.
look like, I mean, those houses look like from the 70s or something. But
Yeah,
it was similar vibes.
it was close enough.
I knew who Oppenheimer was.
Yeah.
I knew what an atomic bomb was.
Yeah.
I knew what Hiroshima and Nagasaki were. and I knew that the Germans and Russians were like dabbling in the dark arts of nuclear warfare.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like it was just like America being like, "Hey, we come up with every great idea." It's more like we can actually come or implement those new ideas, and we can get to them and do it better and faster than everybody. Again, because we're willing to pour the resources into it. And those other countries, when you have communist nations and stuff, they don't have the means to be able to do.
It's pretty nuts, though, how far ahead Germany was. I had no idea, like, oh, wow. We could, like, they could make this thing before, and we could have really been.
We would have been speaking German on this podcast.
Yeah.
If they would have been able to do it first. I mean, think about it.
I'm surprised they even got that
ended
far.
Up like that show Man in the High Castle on Amazon.
I haven't seen it.
You guys haven't seen that?
No.
I figured we'd be speaking German right now.
It's a show. Came out a few years ago. And it's about like if we would have lost World War II. So like half the country is controlled by Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Basically, they came over and like took over half, and then the other half there's like a neutral zone like right over like Nevada.
Yeah.
And then everything like out west of that is controlled by Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just like kind of a crazy show about like people being like, we used to have freedom and stuff, and like trying to get that back.
Yeah.
It's a really good concept for a show. It's an absolute snoozer though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Somebody could have done it right. Gosh, what is the
Red
guy's
Dawn
name?
was Beast, and that was China invading.
Or Japan?
What was?
Maybe it was China. Yeah.
Red Dawn.
Oh yeah.
I just finished Silo. Just finished it last night.
I finished Silo as well.
Was Silo on?
It's on Apple TV. It's a TV
great.
show. Yeah, it was really
Apple
good.
TV's got some bangers.
Yeah, they've got again.
But you
Mythical Quest or whatever.
Is it funny?
Mythic Quest.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Mythic Quest is funny. The Servant was pretty good.
Servant sucked. I
Servant
did not like
sucked.
Servant.
I thought the Servant was
I don't
pretty
know how
good.
you liked it.
Time
I
on
put
Servant.
I had to quit.
I watched 2 seasons of The Servant and stopped. So I haven't watched like the 3rd or maybe 4th.
What was good about that show to you?
It was thriller inducing. I mean, you had like a little bit of tension up.
I will admit it had me trapped, and then one day I said, "Why am I still watching this?"
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me. I was like, Vic and I were watching, and I just go.
It's
It's just
not
one
for
of
me.
those where you don't even like come to a consensus. We don't like this show. We're gonna stop watching. You just kind of do.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was like Westworld season 2. Oh, we tried to power through it, and you just can't.
I
What
think
was
I made
another
it through
show?
Westworld season 2. I
What
don't
was
think
that
I made
other
it
show
through.
I got on Apple TV that I told you to watch, and it slapped?
Oh, Severance.
Severance.
Great show. I actually just.
Which one did you like more? Similar
I like
vibe.
Severance more than Silence.
I think so too.
But I think because I like the potential with Severance a lot.
Me too. Now that the ending of Silo really kind of blew my mind.
It did, and I think that that's great. Again, like I told you the other day, I kind of alluded to it, but I was like, yeah, they're gonna. I like that they actually show you,
Yeah.
instead of leaving you on a cliffhanger like they do a lot of shows. So,
But I don't know what that means. Like,
What's the Silo? The
so
basis of the
Silo is post-apocalyptic, basically.
Zombies.
And no, like
yeah,
the
they
world,
don't
like
really say.
it's probably global warming, to be honest.
Or it's probably like nuclear warfare.
Yeah, or nuclear
Everything's
warfare would
deathblood
work.
outside. Nothing
So-
grows.
It's in the future, and everyone lives in this massive silo. I mean, it's like 200 stories, and 10,000 people can live inside of
Underground?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
underground. But they have like apartments in there.
Do you think that there's a place like that, a facility like that already?
No,
Really?
nothing like this exists. It's
Okay.
way too beast. But they all live there, and it shows you like you can see outside because the top of the silo is out on the main, like on ground floor, and there's a camera, and it just shows like desert and whatever. But like the judicial system in the silo is hiding a lot of stuff, and it's coming
Just like America.
It's coming out that it might be green outside, and that there's a camera that they're playing tricks on your mind, and there's just a lot of secrets. And
Oh, is that where they're like, if I wipe the camera 2 times, then it's actually green out here, and they send people off?
something like that? That's the show.
Yeah, I've seen
like,
clips.
if you basically like, there's one cardinal law, and it's like if you say you want to go outside, you're going outside, and then
Right.
they basically say, do us a favor and clean the camera. When you go outside, and they have fun up there because you're not coming back in.
Yeah, and then they're like, if I wipe the camera 2 times or put up a peace sign, that means that it's actually
And,
good.
Yeah, they
and
can do some sort of hint.
I thought the direction they're going to take it was it's all a big social experiment,
Yeah,
you know?
which I don't think is
And
over.
like everything outside was like just you and I podcasting, the 3 of us, like somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, who are these people?
On this episode,
That's a normal Monday.
or like
Wednesday.
Truman when people are watching him. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's what the guys are doing in the silo
It's like,
today.
hey, those people in the silo actually came out. They realized that they're just a bunch of morons.
That would have been nuts if there was like a town like 3 clicks away.
I would suggest Severance over Silo though.
Severance
the-
is great.
Apple TV is weird because they have a lot of good shows, but like you don't hear about any of them.
Oh, they
Yeah.
don't promote them.
No,
I think that
besides Ted Lasso.
I think that they have such deep pockets that they're probably getting to like, hey, we're taking some market share. They're definitely like trying to ramp up and get enough material to where they can just be like, we have way better stuff. So then people still decide like all the time, like, well, I'm gonna get rid of that.
Am I
app,
gonna
I'm
get
rid of that.
Netflix or am I?
I
gonna
would
Yeah,
get rid of Netflix before
Bro,
Apple
Netflix
TV.
is like just dropping buns after buns.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
every
it
movie,
sucks.
it's like, oh,
Terrible.
here's another movie with Kevin Hart.
Netflix
Let's see how
thinks that
shitty
they
it
can just
is.
live off being the first one, and it's bad.
Oh,
Oh.
they've lost a ton of subscriptions, and they basically had this crisis recently because they're gonna start doing the IP address.
They keep saying that shit though.
I know, but they are going to. Like Hulu already does it, and it's because they said that they estimate there's 100 million households or 100 million people basically sharing subscriptions. So they're like losing a ton of money.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if they're
not
doing that
having
bad, they
people
probably
pay.
have to start doing that.
yeah, but how many
The
like
fallout
episodes?
would be they would still get more subscribers, but not at this point. They
I
should
think
be like,
people would be so pissed off about Netflix switching to like one household password. If you're not in that household, you lose the password. That it would be like unbeneficial to them.
I think that they will probably at least stay the same. And then what they would need to do is push good content. They got to get back to getting good.
They gotta
Yeah.
get better movies.
There
better
was a
TV
time
shows.
like House of Cards, Peaky Blinders
Never
slaps.
watched it. Slapped.
House of Cards slapped until that guy
House of
got all
Cards
rapey
slapped.
with the kids
Yeah.
in real
Was
life.
it kids? I thought it was like teenage
young
like
boys.
16 and like
Yeah.
1980.
17-year-old boy, creepy.
Yeah, they used to put out just absolute great stuff, but then now it's also going to happen in these other, like Apple TV and Amazon. Even like Amazon's different though because you get that for free essentially with Prime. And
Yeah.
people aren't doing it
Amazon
upfront.
is like the biggest hoax with this whole you get it free for Prime. Because then you'll be like, oh, I really want to watch this movie. And you'll Google search it and you'll be like, what is this movie streaming on? And it'll be like Amazon.
Yeah, we got to pay.
And then it's like $5 because you don't have Peacock. I'm like, I have Amazon.
You don't get
Like,
every movie ever.
It
with
pisses
Amazon
me off.
Prime.
Like I had to pay for that Parent movie I watched with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Oh,
Great
Instant
movie.
Family. The best
Instant
one
Family,
is
great
HBO
movie.
Max. That's the best one.
HBO has always
They put out
notoriously
bangers.
put out the best.
But
shows.
HBO Max is just DC. And
Now
I'm
they
not-
have Lord of the Rings
They
right
have
now.
good
They got
series.
Harry
Not-
Potter. They
but
put out
DC
other
Marvel.
random good movies.
like Disney Plus is only beast for the most part because of Marvel.
Well, they have great cartoon shows too.
Yeah, they got some
Movies.
Yeah.
All right, next part about this movie.
Oh, we still talking about Oppenheimer?
Yeah, we're
See,
getting.
that's how this goes.
It's a 3.5-hour movie. Climax. Hitler dies and the Nazis are defeated, but the Manhattan Project commences as the Japanese are still at war. In July of 1945, after 2 to 3 years of hard work at Los Alamos, it's time to see if it has all been for naught. The Trinity nuclear test was the code name for the first detonation of a nuclear weapon. It was conducted in the New Mexico desert by the U.S. Army, and a month later, nuclear bombs were used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This remains the only use of nuclear weapons in an armed conflict.
Yeah, with nuclear
That part's
weapons,
nice.
you really have to be the first one to use them, or you're not going to be able to use them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, now if somebody used a nuke, we're just going to send one right back at you.
Because
Yeah, nukes are. I don't think that it's gonna happen again unless if it did, it's like this is like to actually wipe out whole population.
This is it.
Like,
Like, we're
it's
trying to ruin
And think
things.
about that was built in the 40s.
Oh, like the
yeah,
hydrogen
that's what I
bomb.
was going to say. No,
Like-
it's been like 80 years.
Yeah, dude. There's,
And it's never been used again.
Here's the question I
We're doing
had.
pretty good
Here's the question I had. Where do you think our nukes are located?
everywhere. I was
Moles?
talking to a guy in the
They're on the
military.
coast,
He
yeah.
said you'd be surprised how many malls, how many water towers.
So, like, if I
That
took a
makes
trip up to Atlanta, how many, like, 30-minute drive, how many nukes do you think I'm crossing?
Not double digits.
6?
No.
No.
I bet that they're all. And I bet
From
There's
here,
those
30-minute
sketchy little
drive.
water areas that
Dude,
are
there's
around the
no-
Atlanta airport. That might be 3
I don't
nukes.
buy that at all. There's no way that nukes aren't like just located at military bases and stuff.
No, bro, I bet they're located everywhere.
But do you think
Do
they're
you
like?
think all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're going to war and you're going to see that our Fugazi water tower this whole time? They're like, what do you think we have water treatment plants for, you morons? There's nothing in this thing.
There's no water.
But
Are you dumb?
do you think that with the water tower ones, do you think that the nuke is literally in that water tower?
No,
or it's
it's in
coming
the
out of a
base.
metal pipe in the ground,
Right.
and then it shoots it like that.
I would say the water tower, like, let's talk about, like, the golf ball shaped water tower.
Definitely a nuke.
Definitely a nuke. I mean,
It's
if there is, anyway. That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That'd be
Yeah,
sick.
they're like, these people just saw a water tower flying at them, said Noonan, Georgia on it. And
Yeah, just-
no, there was nothing left.
Connecticut golf course.
Hey, don't you think they're gonna think it's a little bit sketchy to just have this giant metal ball at the top of it? Just paint it like a freaking golf ball.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care. They won't
Write
notice.
that town's name on it. They'll be so happy.
Yeah. Give them a slogan.
Nobody looks at this.
Welcome to Newport, Carolina, where dreams never end.
I bet there is at least one nuke in every state.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think every state.
I think the more
every
centralized.
coastal state there definitely is because they got to be able to reach.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
why
the
would
more
we do that?
centralized you are to the center of the U.S., the less likely you are to
No,
have a
but
nuke.
maybe they. Store
We got some
them,
nukes, baby.
Maybe they store them in Nebraska, and then they.
No, because
Shoot
once
'em
you
off
once
when
you're
they
ready to
come up.
shoot them off, it's not like, okay, well, we gotta send this to Florida. It's like, go.
Do you think they're still knocking them out, making them?
I think you gotta. I think there's a
Like, why would
market
we-
cap.
Why would we need more than 100 nukes?
I was thinking my answer was
Like
100 too.
upkeep, and I bet they're like, hey man, this one's been sitting here for 40 years. Should we?
Oh,
keep
expiration
this
date.
one and
Ah.
we'll put a new one in there just in
Yeah.
case we need it.
Plus, I mean, we got hydrogen out the wazoo. Where are we getting all this uranium?
We don't have to do the uranium bombs anymore.
So we're
because we
just
got
doing
high-
super bombs.
Yeah,
Oh, I bet
hey, if we're gonna
Oh,
blow them up,
geez.
let's really just blow.
Yeah,
up.
I would be willing to bet it's pretty much. I bet exclusively, and they never say, but
I
bet
kinda
it's
think so,
exclusively
too.
hydrogen bombs.
I think so too. It's
They're
like,
probably like, why
if-
do we need that atom bomb? That was
It, like, took
cool
out
for
one
what we needed
city.
to do then.
Yeah.
But if we really need to do something to basically squash a war right now,
let's have the hydrogen.
let's have the one that's.
Here's
gonna
the
really
scary
squash.
thing. So the U.S., I'd say, like, and let's just say the U.S. in total could take about 8 hydrogen bombs before we're all dead, right?
Probably
We
more.
gotta throw about 64 or more, way more than 64, to take out our enemies east of us.
Yeah,
that's-
but we
that's
have
saying
allies,
that
too.
They're all going to be able to.
So you
band
think we're
together.
sending hydrogen
You're
bombs to,
talking
like,
about-
the
You
Japanese
think
or
you
something?
could bring together a
Not the
Muslim
Japanese.
ideology in the Middle East with the Russians and all that for them all the people that
Band
notoriously
together.
hate America to be like the countries that literally can't get their shit together ever are gonna all of a sudden be like, let's come together for one common cause. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kamikaze.
I think that-
That's how it
even-
started.
Even if they do, one of them would be like, yeah, let's not do that. They just got a hydrogen bomb dropped.
That was another issue I had with this movie, because they were like, yeah, they just did Pearl Harbor. I'm like, oh.
That was 4 years ago.
Huh?
It was in 1941. This is 1945.
What do you mean? We dropped the atom bombs 4 years after Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I looked it up.
I thought it was like,
Dude, they didn't
yo,
do
you
one
guys
tower
just
for a year.
did this to us. We're about to do this.
We
to
didn't
you."
officially join the war until Pearl Harbor.
Hell, the Japanese probably forgot about Pearl Harbor after, like, we just dropped it. I thought it was like a retaliation.
I at one point thought that too, but then I was like, wait, this was 1945. Pearl
No,
Harbor.
I think it was literally exclusive. They're like, this thing is going to show everybody how powerful the United States is, and it's going to end the war.
Oh, it was a big
and it
move.
did. I mean, it basically, the purpose that it was used for, it totally, 100%,
But you know what?
Dropping two to prove that you have more than one is also a beast move.
I think
Because
they
we
were-
only had 2,
Yeah. Hey,
but we were like, hey, do you want another one?
I think they dropped them 3 days apart, and I think after they dropped the first one, they were
They
like,
Drew
keep
flyers.
going.
They were like, bail.
I don't think like the Japanese gave it up. They had like a chance, and they were like,
Yeah, I think they were
The
basically
Japanese
going
were
on,
like, yo,
I'm sure it was kind of like cat and mouse too, where it's like, just drop the other one, and then hopefully we'll lead them to believe that we have like a bunch more we could destroy this whole island.
Yeah,
if we want to.
Right.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And it worked. We won.
It worked big.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Next part. Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans, and he was chained to a rock for eternity. That was like the quote of the whole movie.
Prometheus is the name of the book this was based off of.
Yeah, Prometheus is also from Greek mythology.
Yeah, and it's also a movie itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's completely
aliens.
different. Yeah, that's like an alien prequel. Following the end of the war, Oppenheimer fights with regret over the creation of the atom bomb. He argues against the creation of the H-bomb and lobbies for international control over nuclear power in order to avoid an arms race with the Soviet Union. This plus Oppenheimer's previous ties to the Communist Party make the U.S. government untrustworthy of him. I think if you know the Russians are almost there on the atom bomb and you're ahead of them on the H-bomb, that you need to go ahead and make the H-bomb. I think he was totally wrong with this. You know that they're going to get it one day.
Truman was classic because he was like, no, we can't bomb Tokyo. Like, it's a beautiful city, and we take holidays there, me and my wife. Like,
was that the president, too?
Yeah. No, that was like a general or something.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take
Truman was after FDR, and FDR was in a wheelchair, and that guy was not in a wheelchair. That's how you deduce that was not the president.
Truman was the white-haired guy with glasses that threw him the hanky.
Gary
Oldman.
The president.
Yeah. And then the other guy...
Oh, so...
I think the other guy was basically like the one being like, hey, this is... there's no more middlemen. I'm the one going straight to Truman and being like, this is all ready to go.
This is what we got.
We just did the city selection.
Yeah. I can't believe that guy thinks he's going to be able to go back to Japan on vacation for the next, several years.
You're going to have a tough time.
Yeah.
You see a white person over there in Japan at that point, you're probably going to be in, like, their version of intermittent camp.
No, I bet that they would have been like, oh, we got you the best room.
Really?
Please don't ever do this again.
Yeah.
Thanks for not hitting us.
Any standard white dude.
Is, hey, look, I actually protected all of your lives, so you should be thanking me and giving me a beast rate on the room right now.
True. Because we would have just blew them to smithereens, too.
Yeah, we had so many A-bombs.
It was like, I said this is a beautiful place.
They had no idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
But... yeah, I mean, I can't believe, I think that it was all just this moral dilemma about, like, I was literally one of the most wicked, smart people in the universe that could even come up with this.
Yeah.
But again, he had 3 years working on it to basically, again, he knows what it's going to be used for. It's not like the government's like, oh, we're going to spend all this money into it as a science experiment, and then we're going to go put it away. You know?
Like, there's like a security threat. Like, we got this.
He did think it was going to be used on the Nazis.
Yeah.
That was his one thing. Yeah.
But I don't get where you...
and then they were like, oh, the Nazis, Hitler killed himself, quote unquote. I'm sure Hitler lived out a full life.
I think it was mainly, too, because people were like, I think at that time, like, the end of the war was, like, imminent. It was like, the Japanese, like, they're going to keep fighting, and I think that was their crutch to be like, well, they're not going to stop, so instead of, like, let's
bring our boys
fight
home.
them, like, instead of losing American lives, let's just
drop some
hit
bombs.
this button, and everybody comes home, and the war's over, you know?
Yeah, it's an
It
easy
was
end.
and it was.
Yeah. Creamed him.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I think he was wrong not to just make the H-bomb.
Yeah, he should have known that, again, like you said, like...
It was going to get made.
Of course, Russia, you think that they saw that and they're like, that's so dangerous. We don't need to create that. The first thing they said is, oh my God.
We need one of those.
We need one of those because we got to protect ourselves now.
Right.
Yeah. And then it all became a just great, you know, and then you had like the Red Scare and like all the Cold War stuff, you know, where it's basically that and the space race and it was like, you know, us against Russia and we always win.
Always.
Hate to be a spoiler alert if you ever see that movie.
Sorry,
but
Russia.
if the Americans are facing Russians, guess who always prevails?
America.
The guys in red, white, and blue.
Yeah, but not in, which one was it that we lost? Korea?
Ukraine.
Korea. That's why it's the way it is.
Yeah, but that's, they know the terrain out there. That
it wasn't a fair
Figured
fight.
it out.
Yeah.
I heard you did not want to go fighting on their home turf.
Oh, weren't they just like painted as trees and they would hop out of the bushes?
Dude, they just like had like an unreal like trench system and stuff throughout their forests.
Yeah.
And knew it, you know, like the back of their hand.
What is the movie Hacksaw? What war is the movie Hacksaw Ridge
I think
based
that's
off of?
Korea. maybe
I
not.
don't think I've seen that one.
Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield slaps.
Oh, really? I was about to say it.
It's a great movie.
What happens?
He's like a real Christian dude, and at some point, like in his life, he pretty much like detests guns. So he's like,
Guts?
guns. So he's like,
Oh.
I want to support my country, chief, but I can't use a gun. And this is Andrew Garfield doing a country accent.
Yeah.
He does. But he ends up saving like 65 people
Wow.
without a gun and just brings them down.
He runs serpentine and goes and gets a guy, puts him on the back
Runs
and
down,
back.
heals them up as a
What a
medic.
nutcase.
Vince Vaughn's also in the movie.
Yeah, and then lowers them down this huge, like,
Who?
freaking.
Vince Vaughn's in it.
Oh,
Vince Vaughn.
really?
Yeah, he's like
Serious role.
Doss. So Private Doss is Andrew Garfield, and then Vince Vaughn is like douching him the whole time. Like,
Did you watch this recently?
no,
Oh.
it's just a really good movie.
You normally have such a bad memory.
He's like, I see videos, but he's like, why are you even here, Doss? And he gets like beaten by a bunch of his soldier companions because they don't want him there if he's not using a gun.
Yeah.
And he's like just beaten, battered, and bruised the next day. And Vince Vaughn is like, all right, so I'm guessing you're done, right? And Andrew's like, no, I'm not done. And he's all right, well, if you're not done, you got to point out who did this to you. And he's like, oh, well, who said anybody did this to me? He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. And like he's just got like bruised face and stuff, and that's when he earns the respect of his like platoon.
Ah.
Yeah, shout out war movies.
I'll have to
Beautiful.
watch it. Band of Brothers.
Fury.
Band of Brothers.
Band
Never
of
seen it.
Brothers.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I don't even
Are
know
you
what you're talking
serious?
about.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
I'll watch
that
it
is
next.
a must watch.
I know,
Really?
I've heard.
I've seen it all like a few times.
Okay,
Oh.
I'll
Pacific, terrible. Don't
What
watch
is?
Pacific. They came out with Band of Brothers like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then I think it was such a huge hit that they came out with the Pacific, which is supposed to be obviously them fighting the Pacific.
Yeah.
Just not good.
It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like, it's way more interesting the stuff fighting against the Nazis and stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
than,
yeah.
For sure.
than even the.
What
So
would be
the
a question
Pacific
y'all
was
have for
fighting
Einstein?
Japan.
Huh?
The Pacific one was fighting
Yeah,
Japan.
it's basically like, them when troops got over there were like
And it
fighting
wasn't
them
any good?
on home turf. Nah.
Huh.
What
All right.
would be a question y'all had for Einstein? If you had a little 1v1 with Einstein at the lake, what would you ask him?
I don't know. I don't know enough about science.
I'd
Yeah.
say, how does E equal MC squared, you asshole?
He said he wasn't very good at math. So that's kind of funny to me that,
That we're
they're good at-
listening to this guy.
They're good
think
at
he's a
physics. They don't.
genius.
I don't think they like to do the actual
Yeah, they're
arithmetic.
still wizards at math, but they just don't like that.
They don't like to do
They
it.
like theory.
He's like, don't. I don't
Theory's
want to
beast.
do all the numbers.
They're
I
like,
wanna-
I have the ideas, you guys do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
That is. I mean, that's when you're beast enough.
You're like, listen, I know what's going to happen, but I just don't want to make it happen.
I do think I knew that Einstein was around during Nazi Germany. Now, I thought he was popping off around 1910, but I knew he was tied to the Nazis somehow. Maybe he just like,
Sure.
that's why he left Germany. Yeah.
So they basically just got. But I think he was Jewish.
Was he Jewish?
Yeah.
Hitler's
Einstein.
part Jewish.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he disdained that part of himself.
Yeah.
If you said that to him, if you're in the same room, he would have killed you.
Hitler's Jewishness was in the other 60% of his mustache.
How tall was he?
Ew.
Hitler.
I think he was like a
5'8".
strong dude.
Did
No,
you
I
think?
he was, like,
I
tiny.
bet Hitler was like 5'8".
And you don't think he was very strong? You could just beat him up.
No, dude, he was like Charles Manson. He was just like really small, but he knew he was small, so he put his brain to work.
Hitler's
Said, I can make
5'9".
people much bigger than me do what I say.
Yeah, that's nuts. I don't know how.
Do
that guy
you
got a
picture Hitler as a super intelligent guy?
I think he was smart in his own regard. He was a good leader.
I
obviously.
never like imagined him in like high IQ. I just
No,
thought
I
he
thought
could-
he was like. I mean,
to do what he
granted-
did. Yeah. I don't want to talk too highly about
Portrayed as an
Hitler.
absolute moron,
Yeah.
like Tarantino film.
I don't want to talk about this guy and give him accolades, but I mean, he did some pretty impressive shit with a country the size of Germany, and he was taking over the whole world.
Sure did. All right,
And
speaking
to
of
get people to
Tarantino
back
films-
you on some really horrendous ideas.
yeah,
That's
some
kinda-
bad ones.
Well, also when you have basically a government state like that, and the people don't really have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
You're in power, and it's like I'm just gonna create like a huge, massive secret service and army, basically that is gonna control all ideas
a lot of guys.
Yeah, and a lot of the people
killed
that
a lot
said
of-
no to Germany were like, there was like a quote that I know from this movie, but I can't like pick it out. But it was almost like, hey, did you turn your back on Germany? And they're like, they turned their back on me first.
Yeah,
Do you
I
remember
know,
that guy?
I know what you're talking about. That is a line from a movie.
It was like, yo, like Germany started doing some things that I just couldn't back. That's why I'm here in America doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
That was
you
from
weren't-
this movie,
you-
wasn't
Huh?
it?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That was the quote from this movie. They were like,
Oh, he was like, "How long have you been British?" Because he said he was.
yeah.
He was like,
and he was like, since Germany turned their back on me.
Yeah, something like that. All right, then this movie ends. Oppenheimer is put in front of a security hearing board to explore his past and decide if his security clearance needs to be revoked. This inquisition is put together due to a personal vendetta against Oppenheimer by Louis Strauss. Strauss was a proponent of the hydrogen bomb. Ultimately, the kangaroo court decides to revoke Opie's clearance, but Strauss does not go unscathed either. Years later, Oppenheimer is honored as the father of the atomic bomb.
Yeah, they're going through some like what Einstein said to him, like at the lake that we didn't see until now.
Yeah.
It was like they're gonna praise you for what you did. They're gonna turn on you, and then after that's all said and done, they're gonna give you medals, but it's not gonna even matter.
Yeah.
That Robert Downey Jr.'s
Strauss.
Yeah, Strauss. That guy had issues.
He was messed up.
Also inventor
The
of the genes.
isotope joke.
The what?
Inventor of the jeans.
Really?
Yeah.
Strauss?
Strauss.
I thought he was more like a front man. I didn't know he
Strauss,
actually.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Huh? He didn't invite Levi.
So you're just making a mess.
You guys didn't think that though? Like, wow.
I didn't even know his first name was Levi.
I don't think it was.
Lewis.
You said Levi.
Did I?
Yeah.
You said a
I'm-
lot of messed up in that.
No, I didn't. A few.
Guy invented the gene.
Guy invented the jeans. Yeah, he got pissed off about that isotope joke, which I could hardly hear.
I
Isotopes?
know. I didn't know. And they cut it to it 3 different times. And I said, "What is he so upset about?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that
Isotopes? More like smysotopes. And then he looks around.
Just look at this jackass. What isotope is? You know, he was like really.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to base my life off of.
Yeah.
Whatever he said, that everyone knew he was using Strauss. It was something like, don't they use isotopes for atomic bombs? He's like, yeah, but they also use beers, and they also I think, so isotopes are probably more valuable than a sandwich, but not
Oh,
that
yeah, he
valuable.
said something about a sandwich.
And I was like, what's this guy saying?
Hey,
I can't get it.
listen, I put an isotope in my atomic bomb, but I'd also put it in my mustard. And then everybody was like, oh, shit. And I'm like...
All the nerds and nerd now. Like that.
There's 150 nerds in this courtroom, and then he looks back at Robert Downey Jr. like, I got you, bitch. And Robert Downey's like,
I'll remember that for the next 2
I'm
years.
gonna kill you.
Imagine being in that room. You'd be like, "So are isotopes good or bad?"
Yeah, I'd have to like whisper to somebody.
Well, he compared it to
Wait.
sandwiches. I love sandwiches.
Wait, are isotopes fighting with the Nazis? What's going on?
Hey. Is there like ham in the atomic bomb?
yeah. I have no idea.
What's going on?
What? I
So
could
we
not.
put a bunch of sandwiches in there and they explode.
Enough with the sandwiches, kid.
Yeah. What's going on?
Oh, hold on, let me make you some sandwiches.
You want mustard? Recently, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
Rewatched it for you because
I
you
hate
love
that movie.
I
And
hate-
he was like, it's number 8.
He liked it a lot. I watched it one time. I didn't like it, and I watched it the second time, and I liked it a lot more.
It's very
Really?
good, man.
Oh, so it's the second one? I don't like when Tarantino goes and throws like his own little fun ending on like historical
I
events.
love
you
that
didn't like
about
Inglourious
it. That's
Basterds?
his thing.
It's one of the best movies.
Oh
ever
yeah,
made.
I didn't like. I love Inglourious Basterds, but I didn't love the fact that they just like machine gunned Hitler in the movie theater.
Oh, I
like
thought it was
152
sick. It would have been like,
I
imagine
know
how
it was
cool
sick,
that
but I
would've
was like,
been.
okay, well that
I
didn't
think
really happen.
It's like, imagine how cool that would have been if it would happen. Well,
all
you know
right,
what else
let's do our
Harry
let's do
Potter
our
didn't
draft.
happen. Oh yeah. Okay, so the game we got is 4 Horsemen of
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan versus Quentin
Quentin
Tarantino
Tarantino.
movies.
Correct.
All right, so Sully will go first.
Well, first should be everybody's first, and that's Inglourious Bastards.
That's not my
You're
first.
definitely wrong, and I'm going to take John's first, which is Interstellar.
No,
Interstellar's my first too.
highly disagree. Keep going.
Yeah. I will go with Dark Knight.
Oof, I wanted that one. All right.
Django Unchained.
You're going towards the bottom of our list.
No, that was
I
at
don't-
mine right there.
I had Inglourious Bastards before Django Unchained, but you got both of them, so it's tough to tell.
Yeah.
He
I
loves
took him 3
Tarantino.
and 4.
He loves Tarantino.
All right, I'll take Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, a little high for me.
That's very high.
No,
That's a
Kill
little
Bill
high for me.
slaps, bro. I'll take Kill Bill, rightfully so.
All right,
You love all the Kill
really
Bills?
good ones out.
How many are there?
3.
There's 3.
The
I haven't,
first one is the best one for sure.
I haven't seen a single one. You're
I
telling me
have-
it's that good on this list?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's good. I mean,
Kill Bill
it's
slaps.
All right, I'll watch
Lucy Lou's in it.
way better than Pulp Fiction. That's a trash ass
It's
Quentin
not better
Tarantino
than Pulp
movie.
Fiction.
Yes, it is.
No.
it. I have a movie. My next movie. I know that you love this movie. The Prestige.
Oh!
I had that
thought
on
it
my
was gonna be
list.
there for
I
you.
knew you would.
That was my
You got your
third.
number 2. Yeah, that's a good
That's a
movie.
great
That's my
movie.
third,
It's a
and
good
that's
movie.
my highest ranked Christopher Nolan movie, actually.
Really? So
What
you
happens
missed
again?
out.
He has a twin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's the magician, right?
It's the
Christian
greatest
Bale.
Plot twist.
Christian Bale has a
It's the
twin.
greatest plot twist. If you've never seen that movie,
He doesn't have a
Is it
twin.
the magician?
Yeah.
The magician.
But there's
yeah,
a couple
it's Hugh
magician
Jackman
movies that
and
came out.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And
He's in prison at the end, and they're like, "Oh, guess what?
It was never me.
Elon
It's
Tesla, Mr. Tesla, copied me at some
he
point."
said you went halfway around the world and spent a fortune to do what I've been able to do, basically with no means.
One of his brother. So one of the guys gets like his finger chopped off or something.
Yeah, and then the other
The other one
has
had to
do it
chop
so
off
that
his
they can
finger?
Always,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that
How
part.
too, you can tell like he has
Ah, I fucked up. Never mind. Sorry.
he has 2 different wives or girlfriends or whatever, and like they're always like, "You're so hot and cold with me," and it's like, yeah, it's because it's a different dude every time. you know?
Right. Peace.
Great movie. But I think I'm next,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Because
Yeah.
this movie is way better than that movie, and it's Inception.
It's a good movie.
I actually have that pretty high, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping
it's
you
not
didn't take
better.
Inception.
All right, with my third, I will go Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, you're a puss for taking 2 bad.
You guys just
So-
want to say them. I
I
wanted
didn't take
Inception.
anything over The Dark Knight because that's the best one by far.
okay, I have Pulp Fiction.
Oof. Could have taken that last on my list.
Oh my gosh, Zach, you have no taste, man. You open a movie podcast. Your taste is terrible.
I'm gonna go Memento.
Oh, Memento.
I wanted to take
What
that.
is this list?
I wanted to go that or Tenet, so I didn't put mine
Oh,
in.
God.
Tenet sucked ass.
You like Tenet more than Oppenheimer?
It's close.
I'm gonna take Oppenheimer right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather take Memento. I don't even remember the movie. I'll just take it.
Neither does that guy. He has the right little sticky notes for
Right.
everywhere.
So let me see here. What do I have that you guys have?
I should have put it in
Am
order
I-
at 12.
Wait, are we doing this as far as my list?
What do you mean?
Or is it like you already took that?
Did you do 4?
Yeah, we already took it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if somebody took it, you're not.
You can't say it again.
Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah,
making
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
been doing it that way.
Hey,
Obviously, but-
if you were listening.
Okay, I have Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, is that Jonah Hill?
No.
With the, no, that's War Dog. That's War Dog.
God, dude.
What the hell
You
is
haven't seen
Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs?
Dogs?
It's like what happens in Reservoir
It's,
Dogs? So it's guys in the
These
suits that
guys,
are all
It's a Tarantino movie.
they're thieves.
They were like robbing like a bank or something, and they all have to meet back up at this warehouse, but it goes awry, like the robbery.
As they always do.
Yeah, and it's like the whole movie's filmed in this warehouse, so it's like Mike Madsen, Harvey Keitel,
A couple of more names I don't know.
Shepard,
You'd recognize them.
Yeah, they're all in all.
Dak
Tarantino
Shepard?
movies.
What's the crazy eye guy's name?
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
Dave Buscemi.
And then, but yeah, they all have like
We all know him.
they all have like nicknames. They weren't supposed to like know each other's real names. Somebody hired them. They don't know who, so it's like them trying to get to the bottom of it. It's like pretty good. Have you ever seen Usual Suspects?
No.
That's not one of these guys' movies.
It's
though.
not, but it's very similar to Reservoir Dogs. That's another great movie. I'm gonna just hijack this podcast. You haven't seen
If you wanna keep going on.
Sizer Koze?
I've never seen
You
it
talk
either.
a lot more than our guy in the chair. He's always just sitting there by himself.
yeah. All right, Zach, you got any more?
Is it my fourth?
I actually think we've already done 4. To be
All
fair.
right, then I'm done. I think you did Reservoir Dogs as your 5th, which isn't fair.
Well,
Okay, then keep going.
do you have another one?
Tenet?
Okay, then my list is actually out after that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say after doing this list. Tarantino is better than Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, absolutely is.
My list had 7 Christopher Nolans and 5 Tarantinos.
Yeah, but you did a lot of Batmans.
I have all the Batmans on my list. They're all really good
But
movies.
That's one.
Yeah, but I think if you have one
Okay,
Batman...
okay. So
you
it
should
was 7
count
to
it
5. Now it's 5 to 5, and you guys just ate all of his
You
movies.
guys, since I'm the guest, want to hear my full list?
Yeah. I'll hear your full list. I love you.
So, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, The Prestige, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pulp Fiction, Inception, Interstellar, Dark Knight,
That's crazy.
Reservoir Dogs, Batman Begins, Jackie Brown, Oppenheimer.
Wow.
Everything you had after Pulp
Never seen
Fiction
Jackie
is
Brown.
a lie.
Also,
You said
Interstellar
Dark
is like my
Knight,
favorite movie of all
Interstellar.
time.
You said 3 great movies after Pulp Fiction that are way better than Pulp Fiction. When
Zach,
Pulp Fiction ended, I was like, that was it?
The end of Pulp Fiction's pretty good, though.
Was this an episode of Friends? Like, all they did was hang out for a little bit.
Zach, I think
There was a funny scene when John Travolta's like, here's what's going to happen, and then shoots that guy in the back, in the
What's
head.
his name?
Shoot the black guy.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? Oh, I just shot so-and-so in the head. Shot him in the face.
I forget his name. It's like I just shot him in the face.
That was the funniest scene.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I mean, that was funny.
In the end.
No,
when they're-
another really funny scene was towards the end when they're in the restaurant and
Yeah.
those people do the stick up, and he's like, he makes it. Remember, he makes like Samuel and John Travolta and everybody in the restaurant put their stuff in the bag or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, and he tells the guy he needs his wallet or something, and then he's like, which one is it? He goes, it's the one that says bad motherfucker. He writes it out and says it on it.
That's a nice wallet.
Yeah.
I bet that's Velcro.
I
Hey,
think
we didn't say the F word, Mom and Dad. Sully did.
on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was a lot different than I expected a Tarantino movie. I mean, not until the very end was there any, like, action.
There's not a bunch of blood and guts like
Yeah.
a lot of it is.
It was more funny. Secondly, you really built it up too high for me.
I think it's great, and I think that the end justifies the means.
Yeah,
Sully,
yeah.
so
It's
I have a
great.
question for you.
I do like it.
What do you think about the cast of Oppenheimer going on strike to get more money to like the staff behind?
Have
the
you heard
camera?
anything about like the SGA strike?
Yeah, I've heard about these writers striking, and now everybody's like, yeah, they do need more money.
Oh, they need more money.
All these guys from Oppenheimer went out there for a nice little photo op.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Cillian Murphy, he might be my favorite actor there is.
I love him.
slaps.
He seems like like he doesn't want to get into all the shit.
He
is
doesn't
supposed to
have
act.
like any social media. He
Yeah.
always slaps in anything he's in.
They always tell him like they're like, so what do you think about this? And he's like, what does LOL even mean?
I didn't know he was talking about how familiar he was with Christopher Nolan. I was like, oh, he's been in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. I
He
was
was
like,
in
oh,
6 of them.
he's in Interstellar. He's in the Batman's.
It's an Inception.
He's in this. He's in Inception.
And
Oh,
I
he's
don't
not
even
in
remember
Interstellar,
him from
I
him,
meant
but
Inception.
he's in 6 of Christopher Nolan's
You know
movies.
what I could have sworn was a Christopher Nolan movie when I was looking earlier through other Christopher Nolan movies was Shutter Island.
Oh, I wonder
Where's
who that-
Shutter
is that
Island? Who
M.
makes
Night
that?
Shyamalan?
M. Night Shyamalan.
Is that? No.
Seems like one that could be his.
But I would have thought the same person that made Inception made M. Night Shyamalan.
It's funny how both those guys always recast the guys they use.
Yeah, they just love their cast.
Interstellar had
Same
Matt
with
Damon.
like Tim Burton.
Tim
He
Burton.
loves Johnny Depp, and now it's Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, they love these
Speaking
guys.
of Johnny Depp, you guys ever seen the movie The Secret Window?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Is that M. Night Shyamalan?
No, that's actually I think it might be.
Shutter Island is Martin Scorsese.
That's what Scorsese, another great one.
Scorsese is great. I did the Quentin Tarantino one because I knew you were a massive fan. I mean, you put like 4 of his movies in front of my favorite movie of all time.
All right, y'all ready to wrap?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
I got a podcast trivia type questionnaire for
What did
Sully.
you rate this movie again?
8.4,
What did you rate it?
7.8.
And I rated it a 9.0.
which
It's
equals
very
an
high, very,
8.4.
very high.
That's an 8.4.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome
All right.
for
We can
being
leave it
right.
there. Sully says
All right,
great.
so Sully, this is how we're gonna wrap up our podcast, and I hope you do good on it because some of the answers have been given to you during this episode. Okay. All right. So, what do you know about movie night? All right, you ready?
Mhm.
What episode of movie night are we on right now?
58.
Yes, sir. Number one, answered correctly. Say one line from the movie night theme song. You heard it in your ears earlier.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna get there.
No.
But I like it.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna get there. Sounds a little bit creepier
I was
than.
paying attention to the animation more.
Yeah.
than
True. All right, so you're 1 for 2. Not bad. We're gonna give this to all of our
Okay.
features, so
The same
we can
one?
see.
Well, they
we
won't
might
have
mix it up
listened
a bit.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they will have.
Have you ever listened? Okay, let's keep recycling these questions.
What is the name of our movie night website?
You're not gonna get it if you don't know it.
Night Productions?
MovieNightClub.com.
MovieNightClub.com.
Okay. And then this is the last question. Name 2 shows or movies outside of Oppenheimer that we have done on the podcast.
Oh, ouch.
Just 2.
2 shows. Game of Thrones.
We did kinda.
No, we didn't.
We did House of Dragons.
Oh, okay. See?
Did we?
Yeah, we did House of Dragons for sure. We're good on that.
Harry Potter.
Nope.
Oh, man.
John Wick. Come on, man. All right,
All
so
right.
you're 2 for 4.
What was the second one?
Wait.
Huh?
I thought it was 1 for 4.
Didn't we? Oh.
That was a 2-part question.
No, yeah, he was 1 for 4.
He got 58.
So what is wait, so you guys have only done I thought you did a movie every time.
What do you mean?
No, we do a movie or a TV show.
Every single time.
We
Yeah.
do it twice a week.
Every episode.
Well, and right now we're watching the 100 greatest movies of all time.
Uh-huh.
We're doing that with my
What do you
dad.
want?
IMDb.
We've done like
96.
nine-
It's like North by Northwest is next.
what's the guy who
We'll
made
do that with him,
Psycho on Birds? Those old movies, scary ones.
Yeah. There's a lot of old movies on there. You ever seen Clockwork Orange?
Sucks. It's so
Dude,
sketch.
really?
Is
I
it
think
on top 100?
It's
It's gotta
no,
be.
it's not.
It's,
It's
you know-
right outside. I
Oh,
watched it because I checked to see, and I had wanted to see it because I heard it was good.
Really?
Oh my god!
We got like
I hate
Citizen
it.
It's very
Kane.
sketch.
It's so effed up and it's gross.
when they
I don't
make you
know.
watch those videos and
Yeah.
they
It was like Birds. Birds messed me up for a minute. Like when the
What was
crows
the guy's
dive
name
down
who
and
made
peck
that
people's
movie?
eyes out.
He did Eyes Wide Shut. He was
And Psycho.
yeah,
Damn it.
gosh, he's like
Super famous.
One of the original famous directors.
He made the
No.
movie.
Taryn Nolan.
My God, Zach.
Okay.
His name is Alfred Hitchcock.
The old Hitch
He
guy.
made the movie that we're watching with Dad on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, but I think it was directed by. That's who the director was.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, I was thinking Stanley Kubrick.
Uh,
Stanley Kubrick's done like a lot of the.
yeah, Christopher
Top
Nolan
movie.
loves him.
Stanley Cube.
He made 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, that movie's terrible too.
Is it? It's on the top
Oh,
100.
you're gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
When we were in high school.
Space Odyssey, I thought that would be one I was looking forward to.
Dude, well, no.
It's not made in 2001.
Oh
it's made in like
my God.
1960.
Really?
You better.
I knew it wasn't
You
made.
better find a way to power through that.
Oh, jeez.
Stanley Kubrick did, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining,
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one.
Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, Clockwork Orange,
Oh,
Doctor Strangelove. I think that's always on top.
is
Doctor-
it?
oh, it's like,
Came in like it
It's
was
not-
out in like
Doctor
1964.
Strangelove?
that's on it for sure. I've seen
I
it.
hate Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, The Shining's definitely, in my opinion, Eyes Wide Shut. Very sketch movie. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh, I don't know if that'll be on the
I've
top.
never seen Full Metal Jacket either, but I hear it's great.
Full Metal Jacket is very good for like the first 30 minutes, then it sucks.
Christopher
Like
Nolan.
it's very historic, like or like the references and stuff.
Christopher Nolan loves Talladega Nights. Did y'all see that?
Really?
It's one of his favorite movies.
Shout out to him.
He puts it on all the time.
It is a great movie.
All right, Sully. Well, to sign us off, I'm pretty sure another podcast does this, but we're just gonna do it anyways. Just give us one line to the fans, just to keep them going through the week. Yeah, it could be funny, it could be motivational, it could be anything. You just gotta drop one line.
Yeah. Just do what I have to do. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps every single morning. Hard blue collar worker. I mean, I know it's tough for the folks out there. I'm sure that all 50 of these listeners listening right now, some of them probably have to work in the trades. It gets hot out there. Make sure you bring a cold rag. Keep it around your neck. And you know what? Here's what I will part you with. Hot on the left, cold on the right. Shit rolls downhill. Boss is son of a bitch. Paydays on Friday.
There you go.
Roll it.
Classic 10-liner from our boy.